Hey guys, it's Brett. Thanks for dropping by my channel. So today I wanted to talk about a challenge that I have set up for myself that I did last year as well. And I really liked it, called the 10 Before the End Challenge, which is to pick 10 books that you are going to prioritize to read before the end of the year. Now, they don't have to be new books. Certainly, they don't have to be books, from this year, and some of mine aren't. It's just 10 books that are kind of saying, hey, read me before you read all my other brethren. And so that's what it is. So let's get into it. But before we start, I just want to talk about what I've just read and what I am currently reading. Just read and finished yesterday. It was Of Time and Turtles by Cy Montgomery, Mending the World's Shell by Shattered Shell. Cy Montgomery, I first discovered when I read The Soul of an Octopus last year. And as any of you who followed me for any time at all know, I became obsessed. And so when I knew that she was coming out with a new book, I couldn't wait to get this. And it totally delivers. The events that take place in this happened over COVID, which in a very weird way kind of is the backbone of this story in a very interesting way. It's really wonderful. Cy is just a delightful, warm, really smart, lovely person. And I say this because we recorded today, which is October 19th, her for the Gaze Reading podcast, which will be coming out at the very beginning of November for our nonfiction November month. So be sure to check that out. Be sure to check the book out. And if you've not read The Soul of an Octopus, I would highly recommend it. It's so good. She's also doing a follow-up octopus book that will be out the beginning of next year in conjunction with National Geographic. So anyway, there's that. What I just started is The Northwoods by Daniel Mason, which was not on my TBR for this month, but I am seeing so many people post about this that I was getting such FOMO. And I think the thing that clinched it for me was somebody said, oh, it's very reminiscent of a David Mitchell novel, which for me is like catnip, because I'm obsessed with David Mitchell. So I'm not very far. I really just started it this morning and I'm about 20 pages in. The writing, I will say, is absolutely beautiful. I was talking with my sister last week and she had asked me if she read it, if I had read it, because she had just read it, and said she's a big fan of his and has read all of his other books. And she said it's just beautiful. And it's certainly, I think, going to live up to all the hype I am seeing about it everywhere. So, and also, like, how about this cover? How about this cat? All right. So those are the two. Those are recently past, current. So let's get into it. These aren't in any particular order, except I stacked them the largest to the smallest, just so when I repile them, it'll be easier to carry. The first being Eleanor Catton's Birnam Woods. Really interested in this. It's funny because I bought this when I was in the middle of reading The Luminaries, which I have to say, The Luminaries won the Booker, and it's massive, which I really enjoyed it. I didn't love it. And sometimes it's one of those things where you feel like if you don't respond to what's considered like, that's a Booker Prize winning book. And I feel like you have to say, it's my own hang-ups of feeling like, I have to say, this is so great, even if I don't feel it's so great. And I thought it was good, but I thought it was a little long. I thought some of it was a little confusing because of the amount of characters. Again, there was a lot of technical prowess in the book that I guess I was impressed with. But so this, I hear, is more, if accessible is the right word, we'll see. Please let me know in your comments. I'm sure there are plenty of you out there who have already read this, but I'm still looking forward to reading it. All that to say, this is a really beautiful edition that was, I believe, the Waterstones edition, but there's that. This I've not seen very many people have read or talked about. In fact, the only time I've seen this book come up is one day I happened to be in the gym and on the screen, Watch with Jenna, she was talking about going through some books and picked this up and just mentioned it. But this was on a list of mine before that I didn't get to, but it says a Syrian novel about a tragic scandal at an American prep school told in the form of a literary investigation set in 2008. So it just sounds really interesting to me. It's a little bit of a chonker, which is not a big deal. I love a big book. My only reason it panics me is because we're getting to the end of the year, and so that need and want to read as many books as possible before the end of the year gets hindered by a bigger book. But still kind of excited. All right. Adrian Broder's Little Monsters. When this came out, there was so much buzz about it. A riveting novel about sibling secrets and the seductive beauty of Cape Cod. Ken and Abby Gardner lost their mother when they were small and have been haunted by her absence ever since. Their father, Adam, a brilliant oceanographer, raised them mostly on his own in his remote home on Cape Cod, where the attachment between Ken and Abby deepened into something complicated, and as adults, their relationship is strained. Now, years later, the siblings' lives are deeply entwined. Ken is a successful businessman with political ambitions and a picture-perfect family, and Abby is a talented visual artist who depends on her brother's goodwill, in part because he owns the studio where she lives and works. I'm going to cut through down to the bottom. This is set in the fraught summer of 2016, and drawing on the biblical tale of Cain and Abel, Little Monsters, and is absorbing, sharply observed family story by a writer who knows Cape Cod inside and out. It's Edenic, lushness, and it's snakes. Oh, bum, bum, bum. Speaking of snakes and animals, The Memory of Animals by Claire Fuller. I don't know if any of you ever see on Instagram, I don't know if she does it here on BookTube, but she has a really fun thing she does where she'll go into her library and she'll pull out a book that she'll recommend that week or that she plans to read or reread. And then she'll sit down and she'll talk a little bit about the book. And it's just so wonderful and charming and I don't know, just really nice. So anyway, this one is here we go. Comes a beautiful Syrian novel of memory, love, survival, and octopuses. In the face of a pandemic, an unprepared world scrambles to escape the mysterious disease causing sensory damage, nerve loss, and in most cases, death. Neffy, a disgraced and desperately indebted 27-year-old marine biologist, registers for an experimental vaccine trial in London, perhaps humanity's last hope for a cure. Though isolated from the chaos outside, she and the other volunteers cannot hide from the mistakes that led them there. Claire's Fuller, The Memory of Animals, is an ambitious, deeply imagined work of survival and suspense, grief and hope, consequences and connectedness that asks what truly defines us and to what lengths we will go to rescue ourselves and the ones we love. Also, let's just take a moment and appreciate how beautiful that cover is. All right. I loved Megan North's Ordinary Human Failings, this cover, which just looked like the artwork for season 3 that never became of Fleabag. This is actually the UK edition. It's 1990 in London, and Tom Hargreaves has it all: a burgeoning career as a reporter, fierce ambition, and a brisk disregard for the peasants, ordinary people, his readers, easy tabloid fodder. His star looks set to rise when he stumbles across a scoop. A dead child on a London estate, grieving parents loved across the neighborhood, and the finger of suspicion pointing at one reclusive family of Irish immigrants and bad apples, the Greens. At their heart sits Carmel, beautiful, otherworldly, broken, and once destined for a future beyond her circumstances until life and love got in her way. Crushed by failure and surrounded by disappointment, there's nowhere for her to go and no chance of escape. Now, with the police closing in on a suspect and the tabloids hunting their monster, she must confront the secrets and silences that have trapped her family for so many generations. As I'm reading this, I'm thinking, this book sounds really good. I have to read this. That's the point, Brett. That's what we're here for. All right. Next, Meiko Kawakami's All the Lovers in the Night. I really I bought this because Heaven I had read and thought it was sparse and beautiful and powerful and disturbing. And at my local independent bookstore, Chevalier, one of the workers there had said to me, "This is even better." So I've had this for a while, have never read it. All the Lovers of the Night is an open invitation into the unique fictional world of internationally acclaimed and best-selling author Mieko Kawakami. Insightful, often humorous, often humorless, and wholly captivating, lovers' minds the complexity of human relationships by recounting the story of a woman who has none. It is a book about the world of work, its vicissitudes and its joys, and about the ways in which the past insists on shaping our present. So, there's that. I'll let you know. All right. Sabrina Embler's How Far the Light Reaches, Life in 10 Sea Creatures. Again, beautiful cover. I just read this. This was my first, so now I'm 9 before the end. Really love this. I know I'm in a aquatic state of mind, clearly. What Sabrina Embler does, these are 10 essays surrounding different kinds of sea creatures, from everything from a goldfish to octopus to a, now I've got to tell you more, don't I? Sturgeon, sperm whale. But each episode is also used as that creature as the launching point, but it's also an autobiography of their life as a biracial genderqueer person and how they kind of came into who they are now. It's really beautifully written. I also listened to this on audio. Sabrina Embler narrates it. They have a very calming voice. Just great narrator. So I would highly recommend this. And if you just want something that's not a long listen to that won't take up a ton of your time, but to listen to on a walk, in a car, walking the dog, check this out. And I think I got it on Scribd or Scribd, for those of you who have that. Okay. Next is Stay True by Hua Su. This is a biography, a memoir about he and his best friend who are dealing with American culture and how he and his friend don't really fit into it. A carjacking happens and his friend is murdered. And so the bulk of the book is how he copes with that loss and what it means. It's gotten incredible reviews. It's supposed to be terrific. I've had this for a while again, and so really, really want to prioritize it. Probably in nonfiction November. Small Worlds by Caleb Azuma Nelson. I loved Open Water so much. I'm frankly embarrassed that I haven't read this because I was anticipating this so much and couldn't wait to get my hands on it. If you haven't read Open Water, I would highly recommend it. He is a beautiful writer. His novels are not long, but he manages to convey so much with so little. So I would highly recommend that. And I'm again, don't have anything to say except I'm really excited to read this, and I can't believe I haven't read it yet. The final book is a Australian writer, Christopher Dorado, The Family Way, which I'll read you this. The year Paul turns 40, his friends Wendy and Eve ask him to help them get pregnant. Nothing about the process feels natural to him, but for a gay man of a certain age, making a family still means finding your way through a world with few ready answers. The 18-month journey reveals many insights about Paul's past and present, from his complicated history with his father to his overprotective. God, I wish I was overproductive. To his overprotective relationship with his partner, Michael, to the deep connection he shares with the many friends around him who he considers family. So it's supposed to be an astute observation of queer life at middle age. So sounds really interesting. Again, I've had this for a while. Feel like it's about time I move it through my shelf. So, all right. So those are my 10 before the end. I would love to hear your 10 before the end. So if you're seeing this, do a vlog about it, or put your choices below, because I'd love to see what's on your list. And if you do it, tag me so I make sure that I can see them. I hope you're all having a great week. I cannot believe that October is flying by. The end of the year will be here before you know it. All right, so I hope to see you all soon. Thanks again for watching. If you like what you've seen, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you soon.